Center in high definition. This is News Channel 8 on your side, midday.
Coming up, we'll speak to a life coach about the power of forgiveness. Stick around for that.
Coming up, the power of forgiveness.
We have an expert in the studio to tell us how holding a hurt can impact your life. That's next. Letting go and learning the power of forgiveness. That's what we're discussing in today's reality check. Joining us now in the studio is our life coach and author, Chandra Alexandra. Hi, Chandra. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Good. Always good to have you here. Now, this is a really interesting topic because it affects so many people. And when you're talking about forgiveness, it's typically not about the other person. And that's the most important thing to keep in mind.
Well, I think that when we're angry about something, when we're holding a hurt or a grudge, we always focus on the other person. That is a very big mistake. Where you need to focus is you need to focus on yourself. In order to forgive, you have to remember your own humanness. You have to remember the kind of mistakes you've made in life. And ultimately, in order to forgive, you have to remember how you've forgiven yourself for some of the things that you wish you could have done differently, and ultimately how someone else has been gracious enough to forgive you, and you have to extend that to somebody else.
Another thing that's interesting, I think a lot of people follow some code, like, well, my faith teaches me forgiveness, or my family teaches me forgiveness, but this has to come from your heart.
This has to come from your heart. You know, I should forgive, I ought to forgive. It's not going to cut it. You have to go deep inside. You have to remember what has happened with you in life, what has happened with other people. You have to really connect to that compassion for what it is to be human, and only from that place, when you truly feel it, can you forgive.
Rod and I learned this from him. Bitter table of one, your table's ready. When people hold on to bitterness, anger, not being able to forgive, you can almost see it in them. You got to let this go for your own health and realize that it releases the anger and resentment that's inside you.
Well, here's the deal. The minute that you let go, all that anger and resentment almost in the moment is released. You can actually feel it go away. When you have anger and resentment, it not only affects you emotionally, physically, psychologically, your whole system breaks down. You don't have the same look about you. You don't have the same attitude towards being out in the world. The minute you let go, something actually lets go inside you and you feel free.
We're running out of time, but real quick, the old saying, you know, I forgive you, but I don't forget. We're not telling you to be a doormat and roll over, but you know, you can still remember what happened so you don't make the same mistake twice.
I don't think we ever forget.
Right.
I think you have to remember, because it's your lesson there as well. You have to remember, because that's how you learn how to take care of yourself. But once you forgive, you open your heart. And once you open your heart to one thing, you open it to everything.
All right, Chandra, as always, thank you. CoachGirl.com if you have questions or ideas for segments. We'll be right back with a final check on your weather.